Hey y'all, welcome back to Impact Math with Miss Taylor. Alrighty, so let's solve each formula, okay? So here, if we look at number one, it says it wants us to solve this equation for V, okay? So whenever you're trying to solve, remember you want that thing that they're telling you to solve for by itself, okay? So let's jump into it. So if I want to isolate this V by itself, I'm first going to have to move this plus Z. And why I'm moving the plus Z first is because these are connected through multiplication. And so we're going to get rid of this addition first. So how we get rid of addition is we always think of the opposite. So we're going to minus both sides by Z. Now, these are not like terms, right? We have a U and a Z. So when they're not like terms, you just write them right next to each other. So we're going to write U minus Z. And we're going to drop down our VW. Now, again, remember, our goal is to get V by itself, okay? Because that's what we're solving for. So now what we're going to do is whenever you have two letters next to each other, they're multiplied together. To undo multiplication, we have to do the inverse, which means we're going to divide both sides by what's with the V. So I'm going to divide by W here, divide by W here. These W's will cancel. And so we're left with V equals U minus Z over W. And that is our answer. We solve for V. All right, so let's check out number two, okay? Number two, it wants us to solve the equation for G. So I'm looking at G here, and I know I need this G by itself. So everything else on this side has to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at this 9H, the opposite of 9H, and I'm gonna do the opposite of that. So I'm gonna add 9H to both sides. This cancels and I'm left with FG equals. Now these are not like terms because one is a J and one is an H. And since they're not like terms, since they're not the same letter, we're just gonna literally drop them down right next to each other. So I'm gonna say 10J plus 9H. Okay, now I want this G by itself. And you have to remember, whenever you have two letters, two variables next to each other, they mean multiplication. So how do you undo multiplication? Well, you would divide. And you're going to divide by what's with the G. So we're going to get F and F here. This cancels. And we get G equals 10J plus 9H over F. And we have solved each one of these equations because we isolated the variable that they wanted. Alrighty, let's go into a word problem, right? Alrighty, so for our word problem, the formula P equals 2L plus 2W represents the perimeter of a rectangle. Solve the formula for L. So let's rewrite this. P equals 2. And then again, I want to put a different color on what I'm trying to isolate by itself. And here, since they said L, we're going to write this L in a different color. Plus 2W. Okay. So I want this L here by itself. So I know what I'm telling myself is everything else has to go. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus. I'm going to minus 2W to both sides. So I get P minus 2W equals 2L. Okay. Because again, the P and the 2W are not like terms because they don't have the same variable. And when you don't have the same variable, you just write them right next to each other. So now, whenever you have a number attached to a letter, they're multiplied together. So to undo multiplication, we're going to divide. And we're going to divide both sides by what's with the L because we want the L by itself. So our simplified version is L equals P minus 2W divided by 2. And that is our answer. All right, so let's check out B. Find the length when the width is 4 meters and the perimeter is 36. So what that means is they gave us what P was, which was 36, and they told us what the width was. The width is 4. So we're going to plug in those values into our equation to find the length. So I'm going to use our equation. L equals perimeter. I'm putting in 36 minus 2 times, because I know my W is 4. So I'm going to put 4 in here, over 2. So L equals 36 minus 2 times 4 is 8 over 2. And then 36 minus 8. So if we do 36 minus 6, that's 30, minus 2 more, it's going to be 28 divided by 2. And then half of 28 is 14. And so our length is 14 meters. Alrighty, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support, for subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.